Oi, oi, you beautiful people. It's the Cockney bird and it's all about getting real. Hope everybody's having either whenever you hear this, great day, great week, great evening, great whenever. This one's wrapped around a question that I got. It's about that inner child. So big thank you to Mr. Dan Cov out there. I've been getting to know this fella for a little bit, but he's one of those mysterious ones. He's got a lot in there that you want to talk about, but you know what I mean? I'm going to get this guy in a conversation at some point. I'm going to get him on the show, but I might have to secretly do it. But big thank you, Dan, because it's you that came up and asked about this inner child. I wanted to know a little bit more about it. And if you want to know where this question was taken from, guys, go and look at my last vlog on anger. And it's called How to Work with Your Anger, Take Your Control Back. Go and check it out. So here I am in sunny Florida. And I'm talking to you guys. And again, thank you. I can't say this enough, especially around this time of year, yeah. Which, you know, I've just posted up, which is going to be dropping tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time, which, of course, you're not going to be getting this then, because you're going to be looking back on it. Because I'm probably going to be putting this podcast out on Monday. I'm going to have it drop on Monday, but I'm actually recording it on Saturday, yeah. But there's a video that I put out there on, it's called Slow Down, You're Going Too Fast. Go and check that out. Go and check it out. It's on my YouTube channel, and it kind of prompted me today because of all the bloody, you know, let's face it, right, time of year. I mean, I don't know when you're going to be listening to this. I mean, it might be on a little bit, so, but I'm in December right now, 21st of December. 2024, and you know, it's creeping up into that. It's crazy season right now. I'm not even going to say it's creeping up, right? It's like bloody hell right out there. So that prompted me to put the other one out there, the Slow Down. So go and check that out. But anyway, getting into the days about the inner child and what it actually. What is it? First of all, yeah, let's look at that. And it's, you know, it's the memories, the emotions, the experiences, whether that be positive or negative. You know, it goes either way. And in Buddhism, they say you look at both sides. You don't just look at the one side. You look at both sides, because you can have too much of either one. That's for sure. But the memories, the emotions, and the experiences, positives and the negatives. Now, think about this, right? When you're born, even though they're saying now that you really are picking up on messages in the womb as well, believe it or not, they figured that out. That, you know, and I know when I know when my kids were. Well, I should say when my wife was pregnant with my kids. Let's go there. When my wife was pregnant with my girls, I know I played music all the time. I didn't stop. I was always playing music before they came along, and even when I was living in England, I had music going on in my ears to the point of, you know, I even got the buzzing shit going in my ears at one point. Because I used to work in the House of Commons in London as a chef, and I would like get up in the morning, start getting ready for work, and as soon as I, you know, left the gaff to go down to the train station thrashy metal, rock and whatever was banging off in my ear holes until I got into work, and then sometimes during the work breaks and stuff, and then on the way home as well, boom, boom, boom. So you get a little dose of that, your ears start going, oi, oi. Right? Holy shit. And so when when you're born, there's only really two things, and that's like, you don't want to be dropped. You kind of know about the safety aspect. You don't want to be dropped, and you want to be bloody fed. And everything gets built around that. So it's like taking a blank computer that nobody has touched, absolute brand spanking new, nothing in there, no program, no nothing. And then all of a sudden, what do you start doing? You start building it, right? You start building the computer. You start getting it to where you want it. You start coming up against things sometimes that you put in there, and you might get a bloody virus or something, right? Kick off, or you run out of something, right? From doing some things that didn't quite wash with that computer, yeah. So when you think about it like that, that's what you do. Your mind. So you're starting to program is what you're doing. You're starting to build core beliefs and a belief system and programs. Because let's face it, everything around us, everything is a perception. Because what you see, somebody else may see differently completely. So it doesn't mean what you see or what you hear or what using your senses, that's why they say in Buddhism, come to presence, be absolute present with it. Don't even label the sound. What is it? What's it doing? Where's it going? What's the, being present with it. But you basically start to pick up your belief systems from people around you, you obviously parents first of all, and those less unfortunate, of course. There's a whole nother aspect of belief systems and everything that come into it. It's a real tricky one, because it's like taking that raw computer and starting to build that computer, how you want to build it. But we have no consciousness of what damage we may be doing as well. So as parents, yes, there's some parents out there that absolutely know they're doing that kind of damage to their younger ones and loved ones around them and friends, etc. Know it's going on, but not willing to change, or so low that they, it's just beyond them to stretch. And to those people, please reach out. Please, please, please reach out. If you believe you need help, get some help. We're out here to help you. So, stretch out. I do this for a living. I like to give back to the community. So this is what I do to give back and help people out there and build a community. That's why I like to do this. I love what I do. But please reach out if you're in any kind of, mental area that you're not having, you're having a bit of trouble handling. So you're picking up, your parents' programs, right or wrong. There is what is right and wrong. Again, it's perceptions, right? What's right and wrong. We know what the majority, because that's what the kind of thing is built around, right? The I guess rule. When there's a majority of people saying, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that, then that's probably you shouldn't be doing it. But right. So, and I know I've done damage to my kids. I know I have, through my anxieties and my anger, and my rage. They've seen it all. They've seen it all. They've seen me kick off on all of it. Bad depression, suicidal thinking, or and and I know I can see some of the stuff that's happening right now, and that's that inner child bit. Because what happens is that inner child, when you've got unresolved emotional trauma, whatever that may be, especially with some people that have got, really heavy traumas, right? There's always somebody that wants to be in your position, and there's always somebody that's way worse off than you. I'll tell you what. And there's always going to be those people that are in front of you and, I don't like to say this, but better than, right? Or we perceive them as better than. Instead of looking at them as better than, why don't you look at them and say, right, what are they doing? And work towards that, right? That puts your mind in a bit more of a control field, right? Because this is what I mean about how people think and perceptions. If one person thinks completely solidly positive towards one thing, and there's another person looking at the same thing and they're like gone really on the negative side, what's the story, right? What's the story? So it comes down to those programming of that young baby right from an early age growing up. And you're gradually feeding, and the child gets older, and there's different stages in the life. Excuse me. Let me have a drop of tea. I'm actually double fisting. I've got bleeding coffee and all going on, eh? Oi, oi. I'm probably going to regret it 10, 16. Mind you, it doesn't really bother me, to tell you the truth. Hang on. Oh, yeah, lovely jubbly. I've still got the tea bags that old Grommy brought over from England, and I'm still enjoying them because it's a nice, strong bleeding cuppa. You can stand your spoon up in that, old Rosie Lee, mate. Lovely jubbly. And I keep the tea bag in it while I'm drinking it. I like it stewing. People are probably like, what? I love it. So it's picking up along the way everything that you think of your five senses. Your five senses are what is absolutely controlling what it's feeding the mind. The mind is the hub, right? But it's just like anything else. You've got to throw things out there to get information to come back. Otherwise, what does the hub know what to do? No, right? It's got to have something. So it throws out there from everything you see, everything you hear, everything you smell, everything you touch, everything you taste, everything. So and then. And it brings those experiences, those senses into everything, right? Which starts to feed a narrative. So you may see something going on, and if you've got someone negative with you that starts, you're a kid, and you start getting fed another person's belief, right? Because it's all perception. It's their perception now, but then they start making it your belief. So, and then you'll start having a belief that has no reality to it because it's somebody else's perception, belief, program, whatever, right? Unless there's an actual lived experience of something. And yet again, even that lived experience doesn't mean it's going to be your lived experience. It could be completely and utterly different. It's just like your inner child is not going to be the same as somebody else's inner child. Different experiences. You could have had an inner child of a complete physical trauma. Somebody else could have had an inner child of complete physical trauma, but they're not the same at all. And then there's the different mindsets of the different individuals that's involved in that trauma. They take on, I have guys that sit in front of me, and there's some people that can report something and not even think about it. And then there's other people that will start talking around that same kind of subject and just break down. And you start to see the different mindsets, same patterns, different mindsets. That's why you can't paint everybody with the same bloody brush. You can't. How can you? So you end up, first people you're going to hopefully set your eyes on is your parents, right? That's normally the first port of call, I would feel, right? Especially when it comes to mum, yeah? Because, hey, they're the one giving birth to you, yeah? So you pick up on and start programming by, because you don't really know they are, but you'll start picking up on the emotional side of the feeling of safety and how they're treating you as far as the safety side of it. It's like having a, it's like if you take it's just like our guy, our dog that we just got. He's an American pit bull, and he's got some things going on with him because you can't play house with him rough or anything like that, really, to a point. But you got to be really careful. Because he came from a family that the program was he got freaking attacked, and he didn't even defend himself apparently. But he's got bite marks, and you can see it in the side of his face and shit. And right now, if we would have got him from a puppy and brought him up in this household from a puppy, that bleeding dog there would be no problems with him, going crazy because he gets these. And I know pit bulls get the zoomies, but he goes freaking loot ball. And if you like raise your arms up or you try and play as him, he can get a little bit growly, right? But blimey, the guy got mullered and shit. Yeah, gets a bit defensive. Can understand it. And it's the same with a child, right? So when you're getting programmed by somebody that could be somebody else's program. So you take it on board. Now, all your senses are going to come into play with that. So what happens is if you start to have that same kind of experience and there's kind of nothing resolved, you've had like some kind of trauma around something and there's nothing there that's been resolved, then those same senses are going to fire off because your mind's going to go there. And when your mind goes there, it's like PTSD, same with the PTSD, yeah? I get these things to where, because I have it with bullying. So if my anger's starting to go, I can sometimes go bosh and feel flash. It's like crazy. And your anger's flying because it's living an experience that may not be the experience in front of you, which can come from that inner child. Because there's a lot of unresolved trauma of when you were vulnerable, of when you were innocent, when you didn't know how to trust, when you didn't know really how to love. You knew, what you was receiving and that, but when you're little, you don't know. You don't really know what that is. You go on by, yes, of course, if you're getting hugs and all that, but now take some of those kids that have come as adults and sat in front of me that have, not had that. It's hard to feel it when you ain't had it. That's that inner child. And then when you say, what does the inner child want? It takes some tuning in. It takes some looking at sometimes because, sometimes it means they just want some love, a hug, some empathy, to be heard, to be seen, to be taken care of, protected. To be sat down and given positive lessons around life. Yes, we don't know what we're doing. I didn't go messing my daughter's minds up on purpose by any means. I've cried in apology because I know, even though we are all responsible, of course, for our own, right, especially as we become into adults, that's why, to work with that inner child, work with somebody that you can talk to on a level of trust. It's why I love to do what I do, because it's an amazing feeling to know that there's people that come to sit in front of you and have trust in you to help them out. But it takes you having somebody that has no judgment, completely neutral, to where you can start looking at what that inner child is. And it does, yeah, it hurts. I ain't gonna lie. Some people avoid it like crazy because it's an area that, it takes a little work. It takes sometimes, some people can go there. It took me a while because, there's a lot there as well, and it depends on the type. It depends on how you've been brought up as well, right? It just depends. Some you don't see. It doesn't mean it wasn't right. It just means you can't see it. And it's the programs. It's the programs. And like I've said, there is some people out there, parents and that would, know the damage that they've done. And then there's those parents out there like myself that, don't know. But let me tell you, if you are a parent and you have an older child or family member or whoever that's coming to you and they're in therapy and they're asking you to help work with that relationship and sit in front of a therapist with them and work. If that person means anything to you, do it. Face the fears and do it. I do it with my oldest daughter. My youngest daughter hasn't asked me, but, I'm always open to it. My oldest daughter has asked me a few times to come in, even recently. And sometimes you have some of your own eye-openers of being able to trace something, and which I did. Like trace something and go, oh, wow, okay, know where that comes from. And then, do you really want to hold on to that, or do you want to work on that and figure that out? And for the relationship of you and your family member or friend or whatever, right? We all carry damage to the inner child, and we all carry that inner child. Nobody is without that. Like I said, it encompasses good and it encompasses bad, positive and negatives, both. It's like the making of the computer that you are. Bearing in mind that what you see is just a label to what your energy and everything is, because that's what you are, energy. But I feel sad for those guys out there that have had, and like I say, I can't help having a lot of empathy when I have guys sit in front of me and they tell me some of these stories that just freaking break your heart. Like, wow, But then you want to go, okay, let's start building. Let's go. That's how I work. It's like, okay, let's work on that, but at the same time, let's rock and roll. Let's get you where you want to go. Who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? I've got a couple of people right now that are in those stages of, I've got one that's just now realizing what all that inner child bit is. And, he's going through some anger and shit now. And, that's not a bad stage to be, because it means you're starting to see. And I got another one that's crying out loud amazing. There's a few of my guys where you work. You work on that. You work on that computer. If your computer went down and there was a problem that you couldn't fix, what do? You just throw it in the trash? Or do you take it in or get someone to figure it out, right? You'd pay whatever to get your freaking cell phone fixed, right? Cell phone go down, straight in the shop. Shit, mate. Double speed, pulling out of that bleeding driveway like you're bleeding, Sterling Moss. Cold dear, easy, right? Hitting the horn on the bleeding road. Get out of my bloody way. I've got to get to the cell phone shop. My cell phone's gone down. Oh, shit. But when your mind goes down, you just go, oh, we'll just sweep that under the carpet. Don't make sense. Spend a shit ton of money on getting a cell phone fixed. But hey, man. Right? And you stick with it. Remember, if you're only just coming into finding it, the younger you are and the earlier you get in, the better you can, start getting into some tools and working on yourself going forward. But, I think I was like, blimey, 50, I think, or something like that. I don't know. I think I was 50, 49. I think I was 49, actually. When I started getting back into therapy, and so, think about the programming, right? And it's not just, I'm not just talking about parents programming you either. I'm talking about now you go through all your different experiences. You meet other family members, siblings come along. You probably start teaching them if they're younger than you. If you've got older siblings, they're teaching you, programming you in their way. Then you start meeting friends. Some of those friends are completely in the wrong direction, but you end up hanging out with them a bit and getting up to no good. You're getting programmed that way. You got, then you got positive people. You got people coming in and out. You're getting programmed right the way up until now. Because it depends on whether you want to take control or not. And that comes down to right now, you got to look at that inner child. And you got to look at it real good. You got to look at that inner child real good. And you got to want to go there. Because if you got the intent of getting anything, better within yourself and seeing yourself, you tackle that inner child a little bit. I've taken people through meditation, going in and looking at the inner child. And they've come up out of the meditation crying. Meeting self. And then putting the question, what do they need? Oh, shit, what? Oh, I didn't comfort that little child person? Oh, shit, yeah, because that person didn't get that comfort. That's why they're there lonely, sad, haven't been seen, not been comforted. And it's time to do that when you reach out and start getting that help. Yeah. Don't let yourselves down, guys. Don't let yourselves down. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I always say I'm so grateful and happy that you guys keep turning up and listening in. I hope this one answers the question, Dan. It's not an easy one because everybody has their own individual there, right? But you asked for a kind of a general, and that's a general. And it can be, like I said, it encompasses the good and the bad. But hey, reach out to me. Like I say, I do this for a living, and you can catch my link tree in the description. And come and check out my channel. Hit that like and subscribe, guys, because I'll tell you what, it helps get these messages out there to those people where I just got that question, yeah? Old Dan Cov came in and, asked the question, and it was a pleasure being able to answer, hopefully. Who knows, right? Hopefully I answered it. But hey, we got a cold front in here in Florida. I'm going to go and enjoy the weather now. Have a good one, guys. And again, thanks for tuning in and stay that course. Namaste.